Hey, I'm Danny Elmarji. I work for Dell Technologies. I'm their head of systems engineering across Australia and New Zealand. A lot of challenges right now. They're in the process of trying to digitize their businesses wherever they interact with their citizens. And as a result of that, you're starting to see a need for projects to get stood up and stand out for things that are going to differentiate them for the people that are actually going to be voting for their services in the future.
Makes sense.
And as a result of that, they're only getting started in what we seem to be thinking about is the next series of decades where we're going to see digital transformation come to the forefront of everything businesses do. So government is trying to grapple that at the same time being restricted around how they think about funding these projects moving forward. So we see a lot of challenges around that, but also see opportunity. And the opportunity is really around what we can bring as Dell Technologies to help customers get there. The one thing that has shifted is, and we're not just seeing this in government, we're seeing this across all industry verticals because they're all going through the same disruption at the moment, is that there's a couple of focus areas. One is, what are the things that they can do right now that shows an immediate return, right? How can they prove out the value around minimal viable products, slight changes in the offering that changes the experience for the user? They're changing what technology was for many years as being a complex thing to engage in that was built by an engineer to something that's been built now for the user. For the first time, the user has the power and the controls around how IT systems should be designed. So as a result of that, it gives a huge opportunity, and this is where Dell Technologies comes in, to actually help provide them with a consistent operating model, consistent data services, a really well-tuned private cloud capability if they're looking to host certain data sets in private cloud. But also we see the world moving to multi-cloud. And as a result of that, we see organizations need that flexibility to co-create and innovate in public, but also potentially have to move back to private for certain data sets that actually require that sort of regulatory requirement. And so we're helping organizations navigate that right now. And that's just one aspect of how Dell Technologies is helping customers. We see that in the central data center. We also see something that's coming, which is going to be here for many years to come, which is the proliferation of the edge, right? Many customers are thinking about data living in a central location. But if you think about people are actually seeing data from where they live, from where they are connected. The application is actually sitting in their hands. It's not sitting in a centralized data center. And so as a result of that, as data sets start to grow, so is the edge. And so you're going to have to analyze that information, apply machine learning, artificial intelligence to the data sets. And to do that, it's not going to be your traditional edge-based location, whereas basic file services or print services. It's going to be robust and it's going to have to be intelligent, and therefore it's going to have to deliver these new experiences. So government agencies have to start thinking about a distributed data center and how that's going to help. The first thing is you need to understand who you are and who you aren't as an agency. It's soul searching time, right? You go in, you check in and say, what is our core business, right? And is our business to design and build individual compute components to make up this platform that's going to service an application that we're going to build as well and we're going to offer to our citizens? Or is your value in another area of the IT paradigm, which is really just about the user and the data and the application? So every agency is actually going through that decision tree at every layer of the IT stack, right? Do they build or do they buy? And so what that determines is how much collaboration they're going to actually put into place between the different agencies to see, hey, are you building or buying this? And if you're buying this, who are you doing it from? What cloud provider are you using? Are you using a private cloud with some of your GovNext cloud providers? Are you using some of the big hyperscalers? What application services are they doing? Are you building your own development capability? Or are you buying SaaS applications off the shelf? And every layer of the stack is going to have its decision tree. What's going to be important to you as single agencies is what's the thing that you care about the most that's going to differentiate you. And I think that's a big thing that people are going to have to go through. Well, we looked at this and we said, we saw the pendulum swinging back and forth between public cloud and private cloud, through the mainframe era, through the client-server compute era. These swings are going to continue to happen. The only thing that's interesting about it is they're happening in shorter spurts. The difference between the mainframe era and the client-server era was 20 years, right? Now, from client-server to cloud, it was 10 years. And now what we're going to see from cloud to edge is going to be 5 years. And so, as a result of that, the operating model changes every single time. And it creates inconsistencies for IT and how they have to manage and navigate through these swings. And so our view is that the vendor community needs to get behind creating a simple operating model for IT so that they're allowed to care about the things that matter to them most in this digital journey, which is their applications and their data and how you automate the processes of getting these services to their users. And so our strategy as a whole within Dell is to think about how do we create a consistent operating model for their cloud journey so that you can run your applications on any device, on any cloud, and on any application and on any infrastructure. And so as a result of that, we've come together between Dell, VMware, Dell EMC, Boomi, all of our strategically aligned businesses to actually come together and provide these solutions for customers. So it gives them choice and flexibility because that's at the forefront of what we're doing. It's been excellent. I've got to speak to many customers and got to hear their stories, their challenges, hear the challenges that they want us to come and try and help them solve, which has been really, really valuable to us here at Dell, but also interesting to see how we learn from these customers. I think I'm really excited about some of the ways people are thinking about the cultural movements inside of IT, how they're thinking about diversity and inclusion, how they're thinking about solving some real world problems. And that's kind of the journey we're on, right? We have these ambitious goals around, having 50% of our workforce that are females, 40% of them in management roles. We have some ambitious goals around bringing technology for human good, whether it's bringing remote potted schools to children that are technology illiterate and need to bring up the speed, their capabilities there. We heard people talking about this all over the place, right? Things around social good and what that means to everyone, and technology's at the forefront of it. So great event, and it's been good to be part of it.